Hi there, my name is Steve Kerrigan. I'm the Executive Director at the Gallagher Bluedorn Performing Arts Center, and I'm here with my colleague, Blake Argetsinger, to share the news about a couple of shows we're really excited about in our coming season. One of my favorite things that we do at the Gallagher is do shows that people haven't heard a lot about or haven't had a lot of familiarity with. And what we do is we try to look out with our focus groups and by visiting other theaters, and we try to identify the trends of where things are going. And so this year we've picked 3 different acts that sort of in our way predict the future or look at performance in a new way and provide that experience in a new way. And the first of them is Ira Glass. Now Ira Glass is probably the premier storyteller of our time, and many years ago he proposed his show, which is a collection, it's on public radio, but it's a collection of stories built around a theme, real stories built around a theme. And very few people were excited about it. And now he's become sort of a national brand name. His shows are everywhere. He's spawned several podcasts. He is sort of the voice for generation. He started a trend. And so he's actually going to be coming. He does sort of a live radio performance style where he brings in other voices and shares his own thoughts and thinking. And he's going to be not just talking about the radio show or anything like that. He's going to be talking about creativity. He's going to talk about lessons he learned as he trod his own creative path. And I think what you'll find is this is the perfect event for students. I mean, obviously, if you're a fan of his work, you'll get a good taste of Ira Glass and that performance style. But the other thing you'll get is if you have a child who's thinking about a life in a creative field, being an artist, being an architect, being even a business person who wants to be designing the killer app or finding that new business model that'll break through, Ira Glass is a great resource for that experience. You will learn things from Ira at the Gallagher Bluedorn that you might not learn any other way. And so we're really excited about it. Again, he brings a new performance style. He brings a new way of looking at life that sort of, in my mind, recounts the old days when it was storytellers around the fire. So I think he's found a great new modern way to have a really exciting time. Now, Blake, I know you're very excited. The creativity part of you really speaks.
Yeah, the show is called 7 Things I've Learned, and as you mentioned, it's all about creativity. How do you get past that point? You know, I play the guitar, and I saw this thing online about how you get to this one point where you start playing the same song over and over again. You pick up the guitar, it's the same songs that you're playing. So how do you get past that, you know, or in your writing or in your design, videography, whatever it might be, how do you get to the next level? And so that's really intriguing to hear what he has to say about it.
No, I think this is proof in the pudding, right? This is someone who's actually proven that he can create a new form.
Right.
And so his advice has a lot of merit. But the other piece that I love about him, and I've seen him live a couple times now, is he's funny and he's self-deprecating. And so his stories that he uses to sort of illuminate his points are every bit as fun as comic stories. And it's kind of, if you've ever had the opportunity to hear a show, and I'd encourage you to take that opportunity, the storytelling is very rich and very human, and it really, you can find parts of it to relate to for the rest of your life. The next show we have is, again, very different. And this is a band called OK Go. This is a kind of a pop band. But they've taken sort of an interesting path to their career. They're great musicians, and so they could perform in a pub and be great. You'd really enjoy the performance. But one of the things that they found interesting is this notion of creating video art. And so using oftentimes physics or high concept stuff, they've created these videos that are enormously popular. If you go on YouTube and look for OK Go, and I'd encourage you to do that, you will find a whole bunch of these wonderful performance art kind of things that they've done with their music. And so very musical, but also very creative. I mean, it's one of those scratch your head, how did they think of that kind of experiences? And so they'll be bringing that to the Gallagher Bluedorn. They'll show some of their videos performing live along with them. And then they'll also do some neat stuff. They'll play instruments that they create on the spot. They'll engage the audience in coming up and participating in part. It'll be a little messy. It'll be a little exciting, but it'll be engaging. And this notion of music with creativity, fusing the different forms, video, a live performance, and then art. Boy, it's really exciting and engaging to watch. And I think OK Go, maybe more than anything else in our season, is where we're headed in entertainment. Technology has opened up a lot of possibilities in our world of entertainment and live performance. And these guys seem to have their finger on the pulse. So if you want to see the future, come see OK Go. Now, Blake, your interest in video makes this, I mean, I think you knew OK Go better than I did.
Yeah, I mean, they're an indie pop band, and so, you know, in the early 2000s, that's what all of my friends were listening to. You know, we were watching them on the treadmills with the song "Here I Go Again," which, you know, kind of revolutionized. We all wanted to be that person that came up with the idea and had that catchy song. And so the music, you know, catches a certain audience, and there's a certain demographic that will come for the music alone. But then again, the videography of the zero gravity in flight and all of the ideas that they come up with is just fantastic.
Yeah, I think the amazing part about it is that the creativity keeps going.
Yeah.
You have they will compose a piece with a whole set of ideas built around a single theme, and then they'll just throw it away and try an entirely different way of approaching something. And the concept work, and frankly, the science behind a lot of this stuff is just amazing.
Yeah.
The last group I want to talk about is Ukulele Orchestra. And so it's kind of interesting, right? We're going to this high-tech sort of video-driven thing, and then we're going to a band that performs on instruments that basically you could pick up with pocket change probably in a pawn shop, right?
Yep.
And so this is, you know, the ukulele is not held up as the great instrument of our time. You know, this is not a Stradivarius they're playing. And yet, these musicians, this group of musicians from Great Britain, play on those instruments with seriousness and commitment and a virtuosity that it feels like a real orchestra.
Indeed it does.
Played on these little instruments. But the fun part about this one, and the reason I think they're leaning a little more towards the future and they're breaking the mold a little bit, is they play this virtuoso music, played very much as experts. You will never hear a better rendition of the songs than they will play for you on their ukuleles. But the great part about it is they do it with a sense of humor. And they do it laughing at themselves. And they do it with musical jokes, and they make fun of each other. And so it turns into a whole different evening. Rather than just a straight concert experience, which can be very dry, what they do is they entertain you for the evening and engage you for the evening. In fact, I know they, for ukulele listeners who are watching today, dust off that ukulele, because you can bring it to the Gallagher Blue Horn and play along with the Ukulele Orchestra of Great Britain. And I think what it turns into is a great evening of community. It turns out a great evening of laughter and great music and entertainment. And I think that's definitely where the future is going. You might be looking, when you talk about where the future of the arts is going, one way you might be looking is for new forms, you know, digital media. The other way you might look is old forms in new ways. And I think we've done a great job with OK Go and Ira Glass and, of course, the Ukulele Orchestra of Great Britain of sort of touching the future a little bit. And it's not scary anymore. It's getting kind of fun. And I think you'll find, if you give one of these shows a try, a really fun and engaging experience. You'll see why the world is headed that way. Blake, how do you get tickets to these great shows?
You can, of course, buy tickets online at GBPAC.com. They're always available there. These shows are part of our 1819 Artist Series, which will become available to the public on June 8th. But if you'd like to order tickets early, there are opportunities for that. You can join the Friends of the Gallagher Blue Horn.
And the Friends of the Gallagher Blue Horn, I should say, you know, it's our philanthropic group. This is a group that supports all the major initiatives of the Gallagher, be it our Kaleidoscope program that entertains 30 to 40,000 kids a year, or even just the underwriting of tickets to make them more affordable for Cedar Valley residents. Every time you buy a ticket to Gallagher, sometimes it's $5, sometimes it's $10 cheaper because of the generosity of this great group. So become a part of something bigger than yourself and get some great benefits. And probably the biggest benefit, I think, is being able to buy tickets early. Being able to get the seat you want before it becomes available to the general public. Whether you give a little or a lot, you can make a difference at the Gallagher Blue Horn, but you can also make a little bit of difference in your own experience. So this has been a great chat, and I really enjoyed talking about sort of the future of performing arts. I think if you give one of these a try, you'll be well rewarded, and you'll see something new that you've never seen before, which is a great experience. Until then, we'll see you at the show.